You know, it's easy to look back and have regrets and beat ourselves up over things we've done in the past, mistakes we've made, the things that might make us scream, "What the hell was I thinking?" Or I like to think I've come to a place now where I try to change "What the hell was I thinking?" to "What the hell was I learning?" And I could easily look back on my alcoholism and be ashamed of what I'd become, but I see things so much differently now. I'm actually thankful I went through what I went through. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to share my story and hopefully help someone who might be feeling a little stuck. And since this is a new series of blogs, it might be a good time to dive a little deeper into where I was before I go on about how I got here to this amazing place of what I feel is mentally well. And I hope you can get a chance to read the previous 6 blogs that I wrote last year, and they've been reposted to the website this year. It's probably a pretty good place to start. My name is Freddy Mac, and I was an addict. I've been sober for 12 years, and I'd like to go back 13. 13 years ago, when my other life was coming to an end. At the depths of my alcoholic insanity, I like to call it. So let's start with a typical day in the other life of Freddy Mac. I was living in this big, cavernous apartment on George Street. All it had in it was an old couch and a TV sitting on a red Baxter milk cart. That's all I had left. You see, not too long before that, I'd come home after an all-nighter to find the apartment completely empty. She left me and took our new baby boy Jack with her. I'd been warned it was the booze or my family, and I guess we all know how I did on that test. But I thank her to this day for showing the courage that she did. And I will always love her for that. A great person and a great mom, and I love you very much. Anyway, back to a typical day. The alarm would go off at about 4 a.m. I had to be on the air by 6, morning radio guy. It was pretty routine. I would peel my face off the couch and stumble to the bathroom to puke because I hadn't had a drink in a few hours. It was when I wasn't drinking that I would feel sick. I'd make my way to the fridge and open the door to reveal that week's groceries, the 40 a captain and whatever mix I could muster up. I had my first double mixed by about 4:10. I'd usually have like 3 of those before work. I was a pretty functional alcoholic. You get darn good at it after a while. So I would eventually get to work at the radio station with a pack of Halls in my mouth and some cheap cologne so nobody'd be the wiser. Sure. This is how my radio show would go for the last 6 months of my other life. I'd go on the air with my first talk break, and as soon as I put a song on, I'd run to the washroom to be sick. I'd throw up, I'd clean up, then I'd run back to the studio and go back on air. And this would happen like 3 to 5 times an hour every day. I'd throw up so much I'd force myself to drink water just to be able to bring something up. I was sick every day during the show because that's the only time I wasn't drinking. But the day would get better at 10 a.m. That's when I could go get some medicine at the liquor store. I went every day after work, and it would get tricky though because I obviously didn't want to go to the same liquor store every day. People would find out my secret. And, well, it turned into a complex web of rotating liquor store destinations. I would do King one day, Brookside the next, over to Devon, sometimes Stanley, if I could steal the station vehicle. I had no car. I mean, who could afford that, spending $1,000 a week on rum? About the only thing that I did that got me off the couch was I managed to play baseball a few nights a week. And I'll never forget in the heat of the one game, one of my teammates, and we'll call him Darren because, well, that was his name, Darren. Anyway, he came running out of the dugout, desperate for a drink of water, and I remember him just grabbing my water bottle and guzzling it, expecting some cold H2O, and, well, the look on his face, I think he was drunk for 2 days. I was pretty ashamed of that one. That was my life, wherever I was, whatever I was doing, whoever I was with, it didn't matter. I only had one thing on my mind. Where was my next drink coming from? I would lie, I would cheat, I would steal, I would manipulate, I would hide, I would deceive, anything to feed my massive addiction. I even remember pawning my new golf clubs for $80 one time, and I loved golf. These things cost like $500 from the States. Anyway, I drank that $80 in a day. One of the coolest things I experienced growing up was being on a AAA midget hockey team out of St. John, and we went to the National Midget AAA Hockey Tournament, the Air Canada Cup. That's the kind of tournament, right, where you get all this brand new equipment. It's more of a keepsake than anything because it's got one-of-a-kind Nouveau-Brunswick, your name on it, everything. Priceless, really. Sold that for $100. That was gone in a day. I could go on. The insanity had such a grip on me. That was a typical day in my other life. But let's go to the last day. It was a day like most others. I woke up, I washed up, and poured my first drink before the sun was up. I was supposed to attend a Christmas party that night at the Lord Beaverbrook Hotel, and I was hired by an office party to play Santa, which I had done a lot of times before. Everybody loved my drunken Santa shtick. I mean, I had booze and I had a Santa suit, so I was pretty good at it. I enjoyed doing it, too. I negotiated a free room at the hotel in exchange for my services, and of course, I was excited to check in early because any hotel room was better than what I was living in. I got there around noon and after a quick stop at the liquor store and made myself at home. Me, my Santa suit, and my bottle of Captain. I don't remember much about the party that night, but I do know I wasn't feeling well, and I hadn't felt well for a long time. But this night was different, and believe me, these emotions are happy ones. I don't want you to... I'm not sure what time I woke up from my booze-induced slumber that night, but I do know it was somewhere between 4 and 5 a.m., and what I felt and experienced for the next hour or so would change my life forever. I woke up because I needed to be sick. It was kind of routine for me to throw up on a regular basis, and I'd been doing that for, 20, 30 times a day for about 6 months. So much that the stomach acid coming up had rotted away my teeth. I was bloated beyond recognition. I had giant red blotches all over my body, and I was as yellow as a school bus. I thought I looked pretty good, but there's the insanity again. As I stumbled to the bathroom, I noticed blood on the door. It was really wild. There was blood everywhere, and I didn't know what it was from, but I needed to be sick, so I leaned over the toilet to do what I'd done so regularly, and to my horror, I started to vomit blood, massive amounts of pure blood, and it would not stop. The condition of the bathroom all of a sudden started to make sense to me. I had obviously done that earlier in the night. I just didn't remember. So as I was doing this, it was like the prom scene from Carrie. I actually thought twice about calling an ambulance. There's more insanity. Thank God I did, because I'm here today to share my experience. The medical team at the deck determined very quickly that I had developed esophageal varices. There's a link up on the written blog. I was told it had a 10 to 20% survival rate, and it was a direct result of my drinking 20 to 40 ounces a day, sometimes more, for the better part of 10 years. My last drink was November 29th, 1999. And here come the happy tears, because since then, I have embarked on an amazing journey of sobriety and wellness that has led me to an unmatched state of happiness and inner peace. And putting the bottle down was just the beginning for me, because it forced me to open the door to happiness. I just had a problem all along. I had been opening the door the wrong way. The door to happiness does not open outward. A lot of us do that. We open that door outward and look for it everywhere but where it really is, the way the door really swings, and that's inward. So instead of what the hell was I thinking, I'm going to try to share with you over the next few months, what the hell was I learning? And some of the things I've learned to stop chasing happiness. I've learned the power of our thoughts. Unbelievable. It's all energy. Not only have I learned the power of forgiveness, but I've also discovered, without blame, which an addict loves to do, I don't need forgiveness. I've learned to let go. I've learned I'm not what my ego wants me to believe. And most importantly, and I've written about it before and I will write about it again, and you'll see it in every single blog, I have learned to love. And don't take love like the romantic lovey-dovey. Love, the person I need to love first, and that is me. And once you can do that, everything, and I mean everything, starts to fall into place. We have so much power to create and live the life that we want for ourselves. We can be happy no matter where you are in your life. We can be content no matter where you are in your life. We can have inner peace, and we can be well. It's been said, and I've heard it before, and I love this, that the two most important days in your life are the day you're born and the day you figure out why. And I really think I'm onto something. Peace.